In this video, I'll be covering what I learned from a day of masterminding with these two gentlemen right here who have generated probably hundreds of millions of dollars and indirectly generated billions of dollars of value for the people that they've worked with over the years. And they're just remarkable human beings and have a wealth of knowledge. And I'll get into that in this video. And you can take away from it stuff to help you make more money, especially if you're running an online business, especially if you're having a recurring business model. We'll talk about that in length. And if you don't know who Alex is, he is the owner of acquisition.com, headquartered in Vegas, where this mastermind was held, that we attended along with about 30 other people. And it didn't occur to me that Sam Ovens was going to be there, but he showed up. So I'm really excited to share some of the things we learned from him. And he ran consulting.com, which generated $60 million, over $60 million the last several years. So they've got a plethora of knowledge on paid and organic acquisition methodologies, growing teams, scaling back teams, making things lean. Look how lean that guy is. Look at that deltoid. See that freaking bicep vein pop out. Jeez, man, calm down, man. I just showed up to learn a little bit of how to make some money, man. You didn't have to flex on me like that. So the first thing is obviously $100 million offers, offer enhancement. Look at how enhanced Alex looks. So best believe he's going to be talking about offer enhancement, boost retention in sales. And I don't mean semen retention, even though Hamza was there. Everybody's talking about retention. I look over at Hamza. I'm like, that's you, man. That's you. And you know, Hamza, he's all about that. No fat, semen retention. That's how he blew up his channel. He talked about no fat benefits timeline. So day 3 of not touching myself, right? And, just got into a lot of how to architect offers for the specific types of customers that you're talking to. And a lot of guys that are in that room, they got big organic audiences. So they're talking to kind of multiple different types of people. And it's kind of on a spectrum, not like the autism spectrum, but the spectrum of people who have money and people, the haves and have-nots, right? In the Hunger Games, there's District 1, and there's the rest of the districts which have to sacrifice their children to District 1, or the capital, rather. So we wanted to emphasize in future offers, future iterations, even greater exclusivity, special access, exclusive events, which I'll get into more later, and informational feeds, like just plain newsletters or Telegram groups, right? So we have leads that fall off. Maybe you're watching this and you got people who paid you in the past, but they just stopped paying you. You can hit them up. In fact, they're the easiest to hit up. You just got to give them a better offer and tell them, hey, the reason why you stopped last time, we actually solved for that issue of you either not making money or not getting to what you need fast enough. We made it simpler. Here's how. Want to hear more? And then you re-engage and resell them. Second one, conduct rehearsed group onboarding calls weekly. So you got your weekly calls with the people already, but you also need your onboarding calls for the cohort that just came in the previous week. And you do 3 things in these calls: attention, affection, approval. Here's what that looks like. Somebody joins the Zoom room. Hey, John, thank you for showing up. I saw your post inside of our group. I read your onboarding form. It's incredible that you're doing this while working as a full-time teacher and having 2 kids. I commend you for doing what you've done so far with the Instagram post and making your first reel. That's a big deal. Everybody, leave a thumbs up, hands clapping in the chat for John. Amazing. And you want to, on these onboarding calls, address all the potential reasons for why they may leave and overcome these objections. Tell them, hey, it's not going to be easy. You have to do work. So on this onboarding call, I want you to, in your Google Calendar, schedule out the time that you're going to commit to working on this. Especially schedule out the time whenever we are going to hop on a call. Make sure you have 15 minutes before you hop on our weekly call so you can prepare yourself, so you can show up with the best questions in mind. And also explain to them the homework assignments. Timelines need to be explained. What does it realistically look like? Hormozi said this before on on a story about using flyers for the first time in marketing way back when he started his gym business. And the story goes like he had put out 200 or so flyers, and then he only got one call from it. Then he got a call from his mentor. Mentor told him, "Oh, you only did 200? We test with 15,000. Some story like that, right? Bottom line is, you have to understand the hygiene standards that people come in with. They may not know they need to be producing 50 pieces of content a month. They may not know they need to be doing X amount of outbound messages every single week. They may not have that standard. So you got to tell them it and create this identity that they are the person who will commit to those activities every day. You do giveaways. If you are a pretty popular guy, say you're Hamza, you could even give them a one-on-one call with you at the end of the month to maintain engagement and maintain their membership. What we'll do for our groups moving forward is somebody gets past the first month, we just make a one-on-one call mandatory or as a reward, just to also check in and see where they're at, right? You don't got to be afraid to talk to your customers. This whole time, Sam kept mentioning that he would talk to his customers, that you have lengthy conversations with his customers. And so you need to talk to your customers. You'll learn a lot, especially the ones that leave. Number 3, you want to have every bonus be as good as the course itself. The value needs to be there. One of the guys has an e-commerce business. So the vendor list, a lot of people would buy his program just to get access to the vendor list. And well, maybe they just came for the vendor list. How are they going to stay? You have different tiers of the vendor list. Basic vendors and then premium vendors that they don't get access to until they either complete certain, they can consume enough and contribute enough in the group, or reaches past a month milestone. So whoever's doing the client success management, whoever is the community manager, has to be on a cadence of work. So that every week, even sometimes every day, they're checking and going through lists, and they're taking action based off the lists. One of the items on their list could be conducting the exit interviews with departing members to gather insights. Somebody cancels, you reach out to them. They need to have this, the community managers need to have this scheduled in their day. They need to check it off their list. I mentioned customer journey. A structured timeline is extremely important. And then you have community building and support. Offer credit for previous payments towards new offers as an incentive to re-engage. That's a good strategy. I'll get into some good ones as well related to payments and how to increase your cash collection cycle here at the end of this cash conversion cycle at the bottom of this document. So talking to your inactive members can be really helpful discovering where people fall off exactly. So Hormozi said how he would track he would have his community managers track after 1 or 2 calls that somebody misses, just like you would in a classroom setting. If you did not attend, you're marked a list, and then they reach out to you, say, "Hey, what's up? Why are you missing class?" So you want to incentivize the coaches to reach out to them. You want to give them bonuses based off of reducing churn rate. What those bonuses are, it's up to you. It could just be a one-off payment. You also want to host live events. We're going to do this for sure. But a live event where people within the community can invite other people from outside their community, from outside your private group that people are paying for. They can invite their friends and family just to see what's going on, just to be a part of the discussion. It's a community call. So it doesn't have to be like on a super specific topic. It could even just be a webinar, right? Be pitching the opportunity. But it's not a good idea to be very sales heavy on it. Just be very value driven. So Hormozi gave some specific insights. Somebody asked about FTC claims. It's been a big concern for them lately. the person who asked. And Hormozi just said, there's 2 ways that you can protect yourself. Well, he didn't say protect, as if giving legal advice. But there's 2 ways that you can make a claim about a testimonial. So here's what you don't do. You don't say, this is Steve, and Steve made money in his first 4 hours. He got rich quick. He made $1 million in the first 4 hours. Right? Talked about life cycle ads and walking people through the epiphany bridge. So taking the testimonial videos, but structuring it in a way to where it's just an epiphany bridge. I'm not going to explain what an epiphany bridge is because you can just look that up. That's like a standard russellbrunson.com secrets. But you talk about the external and the internal changes that occurred within this person, both before, during, and after. So externally, what was life like before? Internally, what was life like before? And then throughout, what was it looking like? And then after, what it looked like now. So he likes to use the 1 year later or first try frame. So Hormozi likes to use the 1 year later frame. So he had, say the testimonial you're using is John. John was able to get to $1 million business after 12 months working with us. But notice how it's not quick. It's not within 30 days. The FTC really hates that. The next one is, the next insight that he gave was just, yeah, we all know. Make content. You want to do a balanced approach between paid advertising for direct pitches and organic content for nurturing potential customers. This is his strategy. He does not pitch in his organic content. He does not advise the pitch in the organic content. He saves the pitches for paid advertising. And I asked him, do you have a different ad that runs to the warm audience? Different ad that runs to the cold? He said, no, it's the same ad. Cold or warm. It's the same one. Which was interesting because it actually does simplify the process. And you just focus on getting as many variants for the ad as you can that just targets the avatar, regardless of what stage they are, like hot or cold. It's quite interesting. So it's one way to go about it. Some people have suggested in the past, not at this mastermind, but in the past, to do a multi-video retargeting campaign where you sequentially deliver videos based off how far somebody is in the funnel, like how much watch time they've had on the video. And of course, if they've made it all the way through the sequence of the funnel. Easiest example is abandoned cart. Somebody goes through, puts the item in their cart but doesn't buy. We follow them around, says, you miss something in your cart. Come back. Here's a code. Come back. So that's one way. But we don't really talk about e-commerce. It's just this is on community, building the community, right? So, man, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Like there's a lot of things that he drew up on the board that I didn't take a picture of that I'll need to share once I get the recordings. Yeah. Some more advertising insights. You know, we all know this. You got to have compelling hooks and strong call to action. Continuous learning and adaptation and advertising approaches. Yeah, we know that, but we just recovered it. Operational efficiency. That was useful, but it didn't really meet where a lot of the guys were at. It was useful to know. Role specialization, team audits. I think what this mainly achieved, the operational efficiency for the people in there, was to prevent them from over-hiring, keeping the team lean, keeping it lean. Motivation, productivity. So, I mean, Hormozi just giving a hardcore approach to business, doing nothing but business. And Sam Ubbins, biggest takeaway from Sam is, because he has a kid, is he separated his work life from his home life. And he really likes having an office that he can go to. And so when work is done, it's done. He gets back home. He can be present with his kids, and they miss you. His wife and his kid. They miss him. And they're not resenting him. Familiarity breeds contempt. Did he actually say that? He might have quoted somebody else. So There's also 5 ways to increase retention that I'll just spitfire here. I'm probably already covered them, but I just wanted to say them again. Reach outs, pulse check. So reaching out to your people, because within school you can see if somebody's logged in. If they haven't logged in for a week, that's kind of a problem. Reach out to them. Attendance tracking. So a spreadsheet. If they showed up to the Zoom calls, have every Zoom call dated, and then a little checkbox. And did they show up? Did they not show up? If you just increase your attendance, you will more likely increase your retention. That's what they're seeing by a great deal, because people are actually using it. One of the things that we haven't done, which we will, is invite people to the Google Calendar. Like, make the Google event, invite people to the Google Calendar, especially after they join. And that way it just sticks in their calendar, and notify them to just click yes and accept the calendar invite. So it just becomes a part of their life, part of their planning. The member events. And then, yeah, you want to give them homework. Some of the things I noticed was very few had DM sales teams optimally in place. When I say optimally, there's a few that either did DMs themselves or just had a guy jump in last minute to try to win the school games, but we're the only ones that really had a DM sales team in there crushing it. A lot of them did use ManyChat for like the first message, but after talking to some of them, they're now going to be using it a lot more, because I was showing them what we were doing underneath the hood in terms of getting people to DM us and then having the ManyChat bot follow up with them, but also utilizing VAs to do the DM sales. And I told them every $1 that I give my VA, I get $10 back. You just got to train them right, or else it's just going to be a drain. So I'm actually designing an offer right now with my actually several sales team trainers that have coached chat sales teams, chat closers, mostly Americans, but guys that have made curriculum training on it. I'm going to be doing this as a service, really to solve my own problem, but I'm going to leave it open for anybody that's interested as well. If they want to get a Colombian, Venezuelan, Filipino chat closer, it's trained, it's been drilled, it's been role played, all that, installed in their organization. All you need is really two to work the DMs, and about $50-$100 a day budget, because DM leads are pretty cheap. It's about $2-$3 to get a DM lead, but it's not just DMs. You know, it's email list, SMS, because you can like send the reoffer message, the one that I mentioned before. Hey, we got something new. Want to check it out? That's been solving our people's problem. The reoffer message, or just send a spear. Spear is specific, personalized, engaging, asking for a response. Or like the Dean Jackson 9-word email. Are you still looking to lose weight for the summer? Are you still trying to become a sports content creator before NFL season? Something else that we realized is this thing called cash conversion cycle. And if you're selling everybody low ticket and you don't have a way to ascend them into a high ticket, oh man, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. But if you're selling in the DMs, you actually have an opportunity to convert them quicker, because you can recognize somebody's financial capabilities and then pitch, depending not just on financial capabilities, but also need, pitch the annual up front. And even if they don't pounce on the annual, at least you price anchored. You price anchored to a higher price, and they feel like the lower monthly is a deal, and they're more likely to buy. Because everybody was talking about like, hey, retain for a month after month after month. But how about you just hit up your customers and give them an offer? Give them an offer where you can collect more cash and they can get a discount for the service that they're going to be paying for anyways. So here's some ways that were not mentioned in the mastermind about how to retain people that I'm just going to add here for you. It's a bonus. You're going to move from monthly to weekly as an option to retain them. So if you reach out to somebody and said, hey dude, it's too much, $400 a month is too much, $150 a month is too much, the values there are just too much. oftentimes you don't need to do anything with the price. You just have to be more flexible on the payment terms. And if they're like many people who have cash flow issues, you can just have them pay on a weekly basis instead of a monthly. So you start there. If they can't do that, sell them an annual, less their monthly costs up to this point. So they save money, make it a good deal. You can sell annual on financing as well, on a credit card or Klarna. Let me walk you through a math equation. So this makes sense for you. If somebody's like, oh, I don't want to take it on credit because that's interest and all that. You can either try to overcome that objection, say, well, it's worth it. Or if you just want to be piercingly logical, irrefutable, you just say, I know there's 20% interest. Whatever the interest is, going to end up being on your buy now, pay later. You can just deduct that from the tuition costs. So if they get approved for $3,000 and your program is $3,000, but it's 20% interest, but it's a 24-month payment plan on their end, say, all right, 20% of $3,600. So I'm going to send you a payment link for $2,400, and you'll be able to get in using the buy now, pay later, and I'll cover your interest. Boom. So you're striking a deal with them in the DM. This is like negotiating in the DMs, right? And if an AI can be made to do this, awesome. Eventually it will be. For now, this negotiating in the DMs portion is why DM closers are going to be so useful. So, and maybe you don't need to reduce the price, you just need to add more time. Maybe you make it 2 years, maybe you make it a lifetime. If there's a one-on-one aspect, and it lasts for say 16 weeks, you add more time there on the one-on-one. Maybe add an extra call, an extra 2 calls. I'll leave you with Jay Abraham. It's a great way to end the video. Good old Jay Abraham. Remember reading his fat book on consulting and joint ventures on a train ride. First time I left my hometown, down to Texas. But he has this concept called risk reversal. He didn't invent it, but he sure as hell talks about it a lot. And here's an example of risk reversal that you could use to amplify, to augment your offer, right? Now I'm over here talking like Jay Abraham because he uses it's like a thesaurus. Describes 4 different variations of a word, right? Describes things 3 different ways. If you buy a year and get to month 6, and for any reason you cannot continue, we will refund you the remaining 6 months. And we will refund you on a monthly basis over a 6-month period. So a lot of things going on here. This last part right here, I've never seen anybody do this. But this could be the little contingency that you put there in your refund policy, all right? So you could agree to refund somebody, but if they're like 100% money back guarantee, if you get the month 11 and you don't like it, you want to refund your entire thing, whatever. You can have that guarantee, but you should also have this refund on a monthly basis type thing instead of refund all at once. And then this here is really good, especially for fitness offers. If you buy in for a year, get to month 6, and for any reason you cannot continue, refund you remaining 6 months. And that is the Mastermind in 30 minutes. 9 o'clock to 5 p.m. Plus, I think we went to 10 or 11 o'clock of just straight discussion over school and community building and marketing at the Waldorf Astoria, little lobby, the rest of the guys. And if you found this video valuable, just make sure to hit the subscribe button and send it to somebody who may need it. And the document's also located in the description of this video. If you want to connect further, have discussions about working together, or just want to throw an idea my way, my DMs are open. Or you can send me an email at blake@black.com. I'll see you in another one.